Breaking: Jong just gave himself a death wish. This is not good. North Korea just threatened to sink a U.S. carrier in order to show how strong its military is. 2 Japanese ships joined a U.S. strike group in the Philippine Sea. Our revolutionary forces are combat ready to sink a U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carrier with a single strike, according to North Korea's ruling Workers' Party's newspaper. The paper then called the USS Carl Vinson a gross animal and said that striking the carrier would be an actual example to show our military's force. He said North Korea has to conform. According to Fox News, analysts think that North Korea is gearing up for a 6th nuclear test. North Korea is working to make nuclear-tipped missiles that'll reach the U.S. coastline. This is horrible. Let's give Trump a giant thank you for protecting us and share this if you are glad Trump is our president. Fox News. This state Senate opened with Muslim prayer. What happened next shocked everyone. The state Senate in Delaware just opened with an Islamic prayer. The imam that led the prayer then proceeded to pick his nose when the Pledge of Allegiance came on. This isn't the first time that we have seen liberals bow down in the path to cultural enrichment. When President Trump sat in attendance at the Washington National Cathedral in D.C., the imam who prayed cursed Christians and Jews in Arabic during his opening prayer. This country was built on religious tolerance. Although, is it tolerant when a large segment of Islam wants to kill Christians and Jews? The people of this country are tired of the false song of globalism. We only want people in this country that want to be here and want to help make this country greater. Share this if you agree. Jeff Sessions has had enough of Paul Ryan. What he just said will ruin him. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has had enough of Paul Ryan pussyfooting around. He does not expect the Mexican government to pay for Donald Trump's border wall. He says there are a bunch of ways to get the billions of dollars that would be needed to build the wall. Sessions made these comments in an appearance on ABC's This Week because the border wall will be built. He made sure that everyone knew it too. We're going to get it paid for one way or the other, Sessions said. Trump then took to Twitter to say that the wall would stop drugs and the horrible MS-13 gang. Trump then promised during the campaign that he would get Congress to pay for the wall, but Paul Ryan and the rest of Congress have been dragging our feet. CNN. Thanks for reading and as always have a great Sunday. Trump just turned the media's own new poll against them. They are going nuts. President Donald Trump has proven once again that he is the master of the media. Today, Washington Post ABC tried to publish one of their polls to discredit him and he flipped it big league. The polls revealed, amongst other things, that 96% to 98% of everyone that voted for Donald Trump is happy with their decision. I'm sure they were trying to act like us Trump supporters are gullible or some other BS. Nope. President Trump hopped on Twitter and took total control. See what I mean? The focus of the poll was on the alleged 42% approval rating of our president. The problem here is that most Trump supporters don't watch ABC or read Washington Post because they are notorious liars. So how can their polls be even a tiny bit accurate? Oh, and let's not forget that the same poll also found that most Americans approve of his America First policies, 75% to 25%, his handling of North Korea, 46% to 37%, and his ability to keep his promises, 44% to 41%. Of course, the media will never focus on that part. If you have been on the Trump train this whole time and think he is a great president so far, then do your part and help spread this around to every Trump supporter you know. Cancelled, huge shakedown at Fox. Look who just got axed, time for a boycott. Fox News has been handing out red slips over this past week, and it appears they are not finished quite yet. After the stunning news that longtime host Bill O'Reilly had received the axe, many have wondered who was next on the chopping block. Well, it seems that we do not have to look much further. Another popular Fox News host may have just received their walking papers, and it is a big one. Judge Jeanine is extremely popular for no-holds-bar attitude and refreshing take on politics. And, it's because of those qualities, that Judge Jeanine quickly became a household name. The network took notice and offered the judge Janine her own show that was called You the Jury, and it aired on Friday nights. However, when fans went to watch the show this Friday night, all they found was a rerun of Lethal Weapon. According to Truth Monitor, the controversial courtroom reality television show premiered on April 7, and episode 1 included audience members voting via text message on whether or not a man was guilty of killing missing Maryland woman Robin Gardner. Only 1.5 million viewers tuned in to watch the premiere episode, and that number dropped to 1.2 the following week. Fox had been advertising episode 3 of You the Jury, which featured the story of Memories, a pizzeria in Indiana that refused to cater for the same-sex wedding. When reached for comment, Alexandra Gillespie, director of communications at Fox, said the television series has been replaced in the schedule. Of course, fans noticed that the show was not on and immediately went on to social media to ask why the show was pulled. Of course, there are many possibilities of why the show was pulled, including technical difficulties. Independent Journal Review reportedly spoke with the director of communications, Alexandra Gillespie, at Fox, who said the television series has been replaced in the schedule. You the Jury has been replaced with encores of Lethal Weapon. Of course, this begs all sorts of questions that we should be given the answers to. It seems on the surface that this show may have just been pulled simply because of low ratings. However, considering what just happened to Bill O'Reilly, I find it to be highly suspicious. The left is foaming at the mouth to take down conservative news journalists, and they won't stop. The left is determined to silence the opposition in order to continue their disgusting narrative. So, it is extremely plausible that this is another hit job done by the left and George Soros to quiet those who are a threat. At the moment, the network has not responded if this is a permanent cancellation or answered any questions to why the show was dropped. Lucky though for Judge Jeannie, she still does have her weekly show on Fox News. What do you think about this? Is this a vindictive stunt, or was the show simply pulled because of low ratings? Let us know in the comments below. Well, look what Murdoch's daughter-in-laws were just caught doing after O'Reilly got fired. Bill O'Reilly was destroyed when Fox News sent him up the creek without a paddle amid building amounts of sexual harassment accusations from multiple women. While some people claim his off-air personality matches the harassment accusations, I'm one of the people who wonder if a woman doesn't know the difference between a guy being a sarcastic jerk and a real creeper. What was Bill? I don't know. What I do know, according to reports, is that James Murdoch's wife sure seems like a liberal. She apparently works for the Clinton Climate Initiative. For Fox News to fire Bill O'Reilly over accusations means there might be a liberal hiding in the dark who is throwing their opinion around hard enough for people to believe it and fire someone. Is that Murdoch's daughter-in-laws? Not only was he the single most dominant public figure in America's vast conservative media environment, his removal signals the growing power of James and Lachlan Murdoch in the world's most powerful media empire, their father Rupert Murdoch's 21st Century Fox. O'Reilly was dismissed overnight following allegations of sexual harassment by at least 6 women. It has been reported that Lachlan's wife Sarah Murdoch helped influence the decision. Last year, the former Fox News creator, Roger Ailes, was sacked in similar circumstances, going on to advise Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Why would anyone listen to her? What was she doing in return for O'Reilly getting fired? What was her beef with him? Was she a victim of Bill's alleged sexual harassment accusations? Did she have a special place of hate for him? This is a guy who helped Fox News crush the American news ratings and put a foot on the neck of liberal-based CNN and similar companies. O'Reilly has been a towering figure in American politics and culture since Murdoch and Ailes began to build the conservative Fox News channel and its identity around him in 1996. His evening talk program, The O'Reilly Factor, was combative and trenchantly conservative, setting the tone for the entire channel, which soon came to dominate cable news and, in turn, the entire American news landscape. In January 2014, Fox News marked its 145th consecutive month as the #1 rated cable news channel in the U.S. Sydney Morning Herald. A figure well known and trusted. Even if people didn't agree with Bill O'Reilly, they still watched to see what he would do next. When Fox News finally became the #1 ranked cable news channel in USA, there was a lot of that success because of Bill. And how is he repaid? What are the Murdoch girls up to? For starters, one of them is a Clinton Climate Initiative employee. That smells like a conflict of interest waiting to happen if you ask me. Or did it already happen? James Murdoch's wife works for the Clinton Climate Initiative. She is an outspoken hater of President Trump on Twitter, and much of her hate is directed at his refusal to accept that man-made climate warming cooling change is settled science. Here are a few examples of the hate she spews for Donald Trump on Twitter. How can you be in the Murdoch family and have this much hate for conservatives and Republicans? The funny part is that she's in a famous family who is probably super wealthy, and she stinks at Twitter. How many people are listening to her? Not that many. She's preaching to an echo chamber. She's spewing her hate to an empty room full of people who care. I'm not famous or in a famous family, but even I can generate a few more retweets than Catherine Murdoch. Murdoch's support for Trump distinguishes him from some of his children, including James, who told more than one friend of his dismay that his father was backing the Trump candidacy. James's wife, Catherine, backed Hillary Clinton during the campaign and has been a vocal critic of the new president on Twitter. In September, Catherine tweeted, "A vote for Trump is a vote for climate catastrophe," while on the night of the president's stunning election victory she wrote, "I can't believe this is happening. I am so ashamed." This is proof that Daddy knows best. Always listen to your father, he usually knows what's best because he listened to his own father. Not only that, but men are sometimes better at making mistakes and learning from them. In this case, the Murdoch girls should have definitely been more like their father. How does James Murdoch wake up next to Catherine every morning knowing she's a Clinton crusader and Trump hater? I guess is no big deal. When your wife barely has any followers on Twitter, then it's not like she's making huge headlines anyway. At least not until now, when she ends up at the business end of me typing. Shall we tweet this to her? There's a good chance she'll respond. No one else really talks to her on Twitter. Maybe we can be besties. Online only. I'm married, she'll have to keep it professional, of course. James and Catherine are committed environmentalists. She is on the board of the Environmental Defense Fund, which a Fox News report recently labeled a left-wing group, while James wrote in the Washington Post in 2009 that conservation-minded conservatives were missing in the heated partisanship of today's politics. Financial Times. Nothing wrong with loving your environment, but that doesn't mean you're qualified to chime in on things like Bill O'Reilly getting fired. Keep talking about making the air smell great, but keep your nose out of other things that don't exactly pertain to you or your career.